Students, by now we have discussed what is money. Money is anything which is generally accepted as a medium of exchange, measure of value, store of value, and means for standard of deferred payment. Now we come on the supply of money. What do we mean by money supply? Basically, money supply refers to the total volume of money held by public at a particular point of time in an economy. We had discussed this, a particular point of time. This is a particular point of time. We have already discussed the stock and flow. So we have covered all these things over there also. So in such a way, it is a stock concept. So what do we mean by supply of money? Supply of money means the total volume of money held by public at a particular point of time in an economy. So by this concept, it would become a stock concept. So money supply is a stock concept. And now the question arises, how do we measure the money supply? By 1967-68, Reserve Bank of India or the Central Bank of India has been using only the narrow measure of money supply, but since 1977, it has evolved the four alternatives. As we could see here, M1, though these have been evolved four alternatives, M1, M2, M3, and M4. What do we mean by M1? It is also known as the transaction money. We call M1 as the transaction money because this is transacted into the economy in the form of currency and coins held with the public, demand deposits of the commercial banks, and other deposits with the RBI. So first of all, we'll discuss C. So we could say M1 would be equal to M1. M1 would be equal to C plus DD plus OD. It means C means coins and currency held with the public. DD demanded deposits with the commercial banks. OD other deposits with the RBI. Now we'll see what are all these. M1. What do we mean by M1 money? So it has the three components: CC, coins and currency, demand deposits, and the other deposits. Now, what are all these? Currency and coins held with the public. So currency and coins, it consists of the paper notes and coins held by the public. But keep remember here, any currency held with the government and the banks, it's not the part of the component of the M1 under the subhead of C. Please see it again. If C is the component of M1, so in the C, we include only the currency and coins held with the public. In this, we do not include the currency and coins held by the government and the banks. The reserves with the banks, they are not the part of this currency and coins. And that is not the part of the component of M1. Second, we come on the demand deposits with the commercial banks. It refers to the demand deposits of the public with the commercial banks. These are the deposits which can be encashed by issuing checks at any time by the account holder. It may be treated as equal to the currency held, as it is readily accepted as a means of payment. Okay. So these are the demand deposits. Now we come on the other deposits. It includes the deposits held by the RBI on behalf of the foreign banks and the governments, public financial institutions like World Bank, IMF, etc. It does not include the deposits of the Indian government and commercial banks with the RBI. Okay. other deposits with RBI constitutes a very small proportion of the M1. So they do not have any significant role to play in the monetary policy formulation. So all these were the components of M1. Now we come on suppliers of money. Here we could see suppliers of money are the two basically. Number one, central bank of the country, which we have already discussed. Central bank of the country, they issue the currencies except 1 rupee note and coins. Because we had discussed the main function of the RBI. In this we discussed already about that this is the issue of authority or the issue of currency. Okay. So in India, the monetary authority is the Reserve Bank of India, and India follows the paper currency standard, as currency followed in India is made up of the paper. Coins are the limited legal tender money and can be used for making small payments, whereas paper notes are unlimited legal tender and can be used for making payments of any amount. RBI has the sole monopoly to issue currency notes of rupees 2 and above. Ministry of Finance issues the 1 rupee note and all the coins. The responsibility of putting all the currency notes and coins into circulation, it always rests with that of the RBI. India follows the minimum reserve system for note issues. Under this system, the central bank is required to keep a minimum reserve of gold and foreign exchange worth rupees 200 crores at least. And on the basis, RBI can issue any number of notes. In such a way, all of you could notice one thing. If you might be having any rupee note with you, perhaps I don't have the photograph here. I'll just show you later. In on every note, you could see that it's written, I promise to pay. It means this is the liability of the central bank, or this is the liability of the RBI of India, because they promise to pay to the person. You will see this. Okay. But this statement is not written on the 1 rupee note. Except 1 rupee note, on all the currencies, the signatures of the governor of the RBI takes place. But on the 1 rupee note, the Secretary of Finance signs on this. Please note it down, observe this, and please send me a click of both. 1 rupee note, if you have, perhaps everyone will be having at home. Please send me the pic of these currencies. Okay, so 1 rupee note is always considered as an asset to the government of India. But rest of the currencies circulated into the economy, all of them are the liabilities of the central bank or the government. Got it? Commercial banks create the credit. We have already discussed all these things in detail by the money multiplier. Okay, and the government is responsible for the to publish 1 rupee note and the coins. Now we come high-powered money. What do we mean by high-powered money? High-powered money is money produced by the RBI and the government. It is a sum. First of all, question arises, what do we mean by high-powered money? It refers to the two things. Number one, currency held with the public, whatsoever the currencies are being held with the public, or we could say money supply. Okay. Second, cash reserves with the banks. Whatsoever the cash reserves are there of the commercial banks with the RBI. We have discussed all these reserves. The LRR, legal reserve ratios. It has the two components, CRR and the SLR, cash reserve ratio, and the statutory liquidity ratio. Okay, so all these are known as the high powered money. So here you could see money consists of currency and demand deposits, while high powered money consists of currency and cash reserves with the banks. It means currency held by the public is common in both of them. The only difference is that money includes demand deposits of banks, while high powered money includes cash reserves with the banks. H. Here, H. It is referred by H, high powered money. It is referred by H because it is compared to M, because cash reserves are the part of H only, serve as an actual base for the generation of the demand deposits. Clear? So all these were about the money. I hope all of you have get the things. So please go through all these. And next we'll start the government budget. Next chapter will start the government